What's up, YouTube? This is Michael from Team Dreadnought bringing you Bastion. It's a new Keter Sanctuary deck. It's pretty similar to most of the JP builds. I just kind of adjusted ratios how I like them. You'll probably see this deck a lot on the channel especially, but I just want to go and get the profile out. We'll go with the ride deck first. Generic starter. Everyone has the same starter in D series. Just when you ride, if you go second, draw a card. These. When this unit is rode upon by Knight of Heaven, Sphere, Rooks, so your whole ride line just triggers off each other. That's the ride lines. You can reveal 2 grade 3s, which we'll get to the stack of grade 3s soon. To look at the top card and call it to rear guard. You will call triggers off this 99% of the times. 0.5% of the time you get the order card you can't call, and then 0.5 also get maybe a card you can use. You play it anyway though, because you have nothing else to ride upon. But it's not horrible. It's just if you can get a grade 3 early game, you can actually get pretty well off an advantage. And if you call an Alden and they rushed you, you get to really beat on them early. Really solid. His second effect isn't relevant because it's rear guard only, and it's count +1, so when you're grade 3 Vanguards, it gets +5. You only play 1 in the red deck. Rooks is when you ride on him with Bastion, you reveal 3 grade 3s instead and draw 1 card. Always good. Always trying to get the effect off. And then his rear guard effect is actually good, but we're not playing anymore in the deck, but I wouldn't be opposed to you playing more if you wanted to, which is kind of personal playstyle. I really wanted to play more, it's just I bricked them a lot, so I was like, eh, screw it. During your turn, if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, it gets +5 in boost. So it can boost your grade 3s, which as you'll realize, we only play 4 grade 1s, which I'll get to soon. But you only play grade 3s, and 1 grade 3 can give them boost, but it's not a bad option if you wanted it. I can see why you play 1 or 2 more, or even 3 more. Apex Roller Bastion. I'll explain to him when we actually get to his card in the main deck, but he's your main card. You'll see why we play so many grade 3s soon. We'll go over triggers first, and then grade 1s. Normally I go 3, 2, 1, 0, but it's just this deck is weird like that, so we're not gonna do it. Currently just playing 8 crit. You could lower it to 7 crit and up draws to 4. I wouldn't be opposed to that, but I don't personally think it's worth it. But you could do it. Draws are decent in the deck. We play 3 of those. Next set we'll absolutely play fronts instead just because they're higher shield value, but for now play the draws. 4 heal triggers. Not much to say about it. There's no reason not to play 4, especially in this format. Premium, there's an argument you can make for maybe playing 3 in an over trigger, but I wouldn't. Then 1 over trigger. This is Keter Sanctuary's over trigger. It when you drive check it, you give your rear guard drive checks. With Bastion, it means your grade 3s are getting twin drive, which is really good. So you can also wait to trigger Bastion's effect, which we're gonna explain after we get to grade 3s. To restand the card you give 100 million power to if you're feeling really lucky or you just haven't driven a lot of grade 3s anywhere, to get 2 uses out of the 100 million power. So you're basically playing the Cray Element 1 with your current over trigger, which is really solid. For grade 1s, we just play 4 PGs. No reason not to. We say it in all the videos. Play 4, especially in Bastion. There's a couple lists in JP that top with like 1 or that you're like playing 2 or 3. Play 4. You occasionally drive check it with a trigger and you can't stand off Bastion, but it's not worth the one time that happens in a while to die. For grade 3s, we'll go over Bastion first. Just 3 in the main deck. He's your main card in the deck. He is, when you drive check a grade 3 at the end of the battle, you can discard a card to restand one of your rear guards and give it +10. This is your multi-attacking. You're getting 4 attacks every turn. Almost guaranteed with the amount of grade 3s you play in the deck. And all your grade 3s get +2. This helps if they're on grade 2, that you're swinging 15. If you use Dark Strain, which I'll get to soon, that's 30. That's no trigger, guards that with 1 trigger. And Alden can swing 25, which forces a 10k shield, so there's no 10k shields in V currently, technically. So against grade 2, you can get pretty good off against them. Speaking of Alden, favorite card in the entire deck. Grand Heavenly Sword Alden. His effect is when you play him on rear guard, you can counterblast 2, soul blast 1, and call a grade 3 from your hand to draw 2 cards. And when he attacks, you have 3 or more grade 3 units, you get +5. He is your main attacker, he is your main advantage gainer, he is your main card. If you're going to play Keter Sanctuary, I'd almost rather you get this over even Fasado. Like, you have to have 4 of this for Bastion to work as a deck. It's the only way it kind of cycles through its cards. You could even sub out for this, but you're missing the body. It is the best card in Keter, and there's a reason why it's the most expensive card in Keter. You just absolutely need the 4. Then we'll get a 4 Fluke. He's pretty good. I thought about cutting him to 3, but I've had a lot of scenarios where I just liked him at 4. You could cut him to 3 and maybe put in a third one of this or a third one of this, but I wouldn't recommend that. I would just keep him at 4. You can put him in soul to choose one of your grade 3 rear guards and give it plus 10. So as we said, Alden, again, if they're at grade 2, you put one in soul, he's a 30 attacking the rear vanguard. That's, again, too high for them to really guard, so it forces them to eat a damage early on. Then for Fasado, as we've said, Alden's cost is counter blast 2, soul blast 1, and he on hits counter charge 1, soul charge 1. You can swing pretty decent with him. He's a 15 to a grade 2. That's a 10k shield. If you use Refluke on him, he's a 25. So that's right there is the 20k in shield they might not want to use. So you refund your soul blast for Alden, and you refund half of the counter blast cost, which is just really good to keep going with like orders and such, or even just immediately pay for the cost of her. It's really good. It's worth playing at 4. Some decks cut it to 3, but I'd really recommend you play 4. He also has resist, so if you're fighting the Brant Gate matchup and Prison especially, you can just call him and just not care. So that's just really solid. Then 4 of Acute. It's actually Actual Analyst. Actual Analyst. When you guard with it, if your Vanguard is Apex Ruler Bastion, it gets 5 shield for each of your grade 3s, including itself, and on Guardian Circle. So, if you just guard with it and you just have Bastion on board, nothing else, somehow, it's at least a 5k shield. So it's better than any 5k shields you're playing anyway. You have 2 grade 3s in the front, it's a 10k shield. If you're doing Dark Strain turns, you can make it a 15k shield. If you need to place 2 of them on guard, it's going to be a 20k shield. It's just really good shield value, and I really think you should play 4 of it. And if you're listening, Bushy, give us the promo pack. It's not foil, but it could be. You got this.
With your help.
With your help, this too can be foil. And then we play 3 Dark Strain. Some builds play this at 4, some play it at only 2. I think 3 is the number I found that doesn't clog too much, but I also see it when I need it. It's just if you have 3 or more grade 3 units, you can Soul Blast 2, and all your grade 3 units get boost until end of turn. Soul Blast 2 is hefty, but again, it's why you're playing the 4 Fasado, it's why you're playing 4 Refluke. You can pay for the Soul Blast cost pretty easily, and can just help you seal out games. You need the numbers against a lot of decks, and it helps you really close out the game. 3 is fine. You could lower it to 2 if you really wanted to, if you're seeing it too much. 4, you could do it if you're not seeing it enough, but I don't think 4 is worth it. Then it's just 2 big Snake Witches. When she's discarded, you can counterblast 1, soul blast 1 to draw a card. She helps when going up the ride line, because you discard the ride from the ride deck, obviously. And she helps when using Bastion, because she pays for Bastion off herself, and Fasado pays for her. So all the cards kind of pay for each other, which is good to keep your advantage gaining. You don't really have a lot of shield value besides triggers, so it really helps to draw into those. And then 2, just the Holy Hour of Judgment Cometh. This is kind of a card you could take out for Downswing Sword, which is the order card. If you soul blast a grade 3, you can tuck one of your opponent's columns. That's also good. You could make these 2 Painkiller Angels if you wanted to not go the full grade 3 route and have an early game booster. There's other options you can play besides this, but I really recommend playing this because the games you don't see your Aldens, you need to draw 2 cards to either find Aldens or just find attackers, and Painkiller only draws you 1 card back, while this will draw you 2 cards. It's really good, and I really recommend playing it, but you don't have to. But again, my recommendation is to do it. That's Bastion. We'll see a lot of stuff on the channel. Festival Collection doesn't really give you much cards you play in it. I really recommend picking it up now. Next set, you can play it. It's really good, and just I recommend buying this stuff now before it goes up. Alden especially is a card I would pick up now, and don't miss out on it. That's Bastion. I hope you guys enjoy it, and I hope you guys have fun testing Overdress. There'll be more to come.